All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Sarabjit Kaur and with me is Vaibhav Jyotsna Srivastav. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to release financial assistance to over 6 lakh beneficiaries of Uttar Pradesh under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin. India to begin supply of indigenous COVID-19 vaccine to several neighbouring and key partner countries from today. 10th round of talks between centre and farmers' representatives to be held in New Delhi today. US President-elect Joe Biden to be sworn in as 46th President under thick security cover. And in cricket, BCCI announces 18-member squad for home test series against England. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin the bulletin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. Now the news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will release financial assistance of around 2,691 crores to over 6 lakh beneficiaries in Uttar Pradesh under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin PMAYG today through video conferencing. He is also likely to speak to some beneficiaries on the occasion. Union Rural Development Minister and Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh will also be present in the function. The assistance would include release of first installment to 5.30 lakh beneficiaries and second installment to 80,000 beneficiaries who have already availed the first installment of assistance under PMAYG. AIR Lucknow correspondent reports that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to speak to a woman named Rajkumari of Kho village of Chitrakoot district of Bundelkhand area in the state. With a click by Prime Minister, 5,044 beneficiaries will be financially benefited in Chitrakoot district. Uttar Pradesh bagged 9 national awards, which was the highest last year, in different categories for the excellent implementation of the scheme by Union Rural Development Ministry. So far, 1.26 crore houses have already been built across the country under PMAYG, which was launched on 20th of November 2016 by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Along with the financial grant, the beneficiaries will also be provided unskilled labour wages under Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme and will also be getting an assistance of 12,000 rupees for the construction of toilets through Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin. With Sushil Chand Tewari's report from Lucknow, Tanvi Khurana, AIR News. India will start exporting COVID-19 vaccines from today, paving the way for many mid- and lower-income countries to get supplies of the easy-to-store vaccine. Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a tweet said, India is deeply honoured to be a long-trusted partner in meeting the healthcare needs of the global community. In a statement, Ministry of External Affairs said, Government of India has received several requests for the supply of Indian-manufactured vaccines from neighbouring and key partner countries. In response to these requests, and in keeping with India's stated commitment to use India's vaccine production and delivery capacity to help all of the humanity fight the COVID pandemic, supplies under grant assistance to Bhutan, Maldives, Bangladesh, Nepal, Myanmar and Seychelles will begin from today. The ministry said, in respect of Sri Lanka, Afghanistan and Mauritius, India is awaiting their confirmation of necessary regulatory clearances. The ministry said, immunization program is being implemented in India as in other countries in a phased manner to cover the healthcare providers, frontline workers and the most vulnerable. Keeping in view the domestic requirements of the phased rollout, India will continue to supply COVID-19 vaccines to partner countries over the coming weeks and months in a phased manner. It will be ensured that domestic manufacturers will have adequate stocks to meet domestic requirements while supplying abroad. Prior to the delivery of vaccines, a 2-day training program covering administrative and operational aspects began today for immunization managers, cold chain officers, communication officers and data managers of the recipient countries both at national and provincial levels.
A consignment containing 150,000 doses of Covishield vaccines will reach Thimphu today. Official sources said Bhutan is the first country to receive Government of India's gift of the Covishield vaccines manufactured by the Serum Institute of India, SII. In line with India-Bhutan unique and special relations, India ensured continuous supply of trade and essential items to Bhutan despite COVID-19 related lockdowns. New Delhi has so far provided essential medicines and medical supplies including paracetamol, hydroxychloroquine, PPEs, N95 masks, X-ray machines and test kits worth over 2 crore 80 lakh rupees to Bhutan. A consignment containing 1 lakh doses of Covishield vaccines will also reach Male today. With this, Maldives along with Bhutan has become the first recipient of India's gift of the Covishield vaccines. The government has said that more than 6,31,000 beneficiaries have been vaccinated for COVID-19 till date across the country. Briefing reporters in New Delhi, Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan said only 0.18% adverse events happened and 0.002% of the people were hospitalized following the immunization. He said these are fairly low and the lowest so far in the world in the first 3 days. The Health Secretary said India vaccinated more than 207,000 persons, the highest number of persons in the world on the first day of vaccination. Mr. Bhushan said Tamil Nadu, Puducherry and Punjab have less than 40% vaccination coverage.
अभी तक जो आंकड़े आए उसमें 0.18% is the adverse event following immunization and 0.002 is the percentage of people who were hospitalized following immunization. These are fairly low, in fact lowest so far as we know in the world in the first 3 days.
Talking to All India Radio, Dr. Nitesh Gupta of the Safdarjung Hospital said that it is common to get mild symptoms such as fever after getting any vaccine and similar is the case with the COVID vaccine.
हमने पहले भी देखा है वैक्सीन से हल्का बुखार आना, थोड़ा सा सर दर्द होना या चक्कर आना, ये एक आम बात होती है। हर बार जब भी वैक्सीन लगती है मरीज को हमेशा बताया जाता है कि आपको हल्का सा बुखार आ सकता है, तो उसके लिए आपको ये दवाई लेनी है। ऐसा हर टीकाकरण में बच्चों का भी जो होता है उसमें उनको समझाया जाता है। और जैसा आप बताया भी 6 लाख लोगों को लगने के बाद भी सिर्फ जो साइड इफेक्ट है 0.01% में माइनर साइड इफेक्ट देखेगा। ये मार्क करता है कि हमारी वैक्सीन बिल्कुल सेफ है और को लगाना चाहिए।
In the first phase of COVID-19 preventive vaccination drive in Maharashtra, as many as 14,883 health workers were vaccinated so far. Our Mumbai correspondent reports in some places the vaccination drive continued till late last evening.
In Maharashtra, health workers were administered with the COVID-19 preventive vaccine at 274 centers. Dr. Pradeep Vyas, Principal Secretary, Department of Health said there were no serious adverse side effects reported during the vaccination drive. This drive started in 34 districts and 27 municipal areas in the state on Saturday with 17,762 vaccinators and 7,85,927 health workers registered on the COVID portal. In the first phase of this drive, 52.68% health workers were vaccinated till last evening. In Mumbai, about 1,597 health workers were vaccinated yesterday. Madhuri Pange, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Odisha, the second consignment of Covishield reached capital Bhubaneswar yesterday from the Serum Institute of India, Pune. The consignment is carrying 3,34,500 doses of Covishield. Later, the vaccines were taken amidst tight security to the State Vaccine Centre for safekeeping and subsequent dispatch to the districts to roll out the first phase of the immunization drive. More from our Bhubaneswar correspondent.
The 3.34 lakh odd doses of COVID vaccines added up with more than 4 lakh doses received earlier can now provide vaccination cover to all the 3.38 lakh healthcare and frontline workers databased by the state government. On the other hand, the state conducted as many as 182 sessions yesterday to vaccinate more than 14,000 registered beneficiaries across the vaccination facilities. Meanwhile, the state health department has cautioned those healthcare workers refusing to be vaccinated during the ongoing phase will lose the chance of availing the vaccines free of cost later. Karnataka. Girish Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
In Karnataka, an estimated 47% of the designated beneficiaries were administered the COVID-19 vaccine in the state yesterday. Our Bangalore correspondent reports about 80,686 beneficiaries have been vaccinated in the state.
According to the data released by the Office of State Health Department, out of 32,205 targeted beneficiaries for vaccination, 15,223 beneficiaries were vaccinated yesterday in 346 sessions held. In Bangalore Urban, 4,288 beneficiaries were vaccinated. Karnataka Health Minister Dr. K. Sudhakar said that both Covaxin and Covishield, approved by the Drugs Controller General of India, are equally safe and there is no need for any apprehension against the Covaxin. R. Murthy, AIR News, Bengaluru.
India continues to leap ahead in its fight against COVID-19 with over 1,228,000 cumulative recoveries so far. With this, the national recovery rate has further improved to stand at 96.66%. The rate of new daily infections has further slipped, with 10,064 cases being reported in the past 24 hours. This is the lowest single-day spike since the second week of June. During the same interval, over 17,400 people have successfully recovered from the viral contagion. The gap between the recovered patients and the active cases in the country has further widened, and the number of recovered patients stands at nearly 50 times the number of current active cases. The active caseload in the country comprises merely around 2 lakh people and continues to witness further reduction to stand at 1.90%. Out of these, nearly 60% are under home isolation and have mild to very mild symptoms. In Ladakh, the COVID recovery rate has improved to 98% and 2% higher than the national average. Also, the infection rate in the Union Territory has also come down and the COVID situation is under control so far. Our correspondent has filed this report.
COVID infection in Ladakh is under control since early this month. The detection of new cases have been minimal in this period. For instance, only 5 COVID positive cases detected from the 413 samples tested for COVID yesterday at different COVID labs. With this, the total present active case load stands at 79. Kargil continued to remain zero infection for the past 4 days, and at present it has only 3 COVID positive cases isolated at home. The UT administration, under its strict surveillance, is continuously screening Leh inbound passenger from flight at Kushok Bakula Rimpoche Airport, Leh, besides screening at inter-district checkposts. Yangchen Dolma for AR News from Leh, Ladakh.
Gujarat has recorded 485 new cases of COVID-19 during the last 24 hours. According to the State Health Department, the recovery rate has further improved to 95.98%. More details from our Ahmedabad correspondent.
The total number of COVID-19 cases detected so far in Gujarat has reached up to 2,56,552. Out of this, 2,46,516 patients recovered. 709 patients discharged from the hospitals after the recovery during the last 24 hours. Maximum 103 new cases reported from Ahmedabad, while Surat recorded 92 new cases. At present, total active cases in the state are 5,967, out of which 52 patients are on ventilator. 2 patients died yesterday, taking the total deaths due to COVID-19 up to 4,369. Yogesh Pandya, AR News, Ahmedabad.
In Bihar, 2 crore corona tests have been conducted in the state so far. 2,54,508 patients have recovered from the COVID-19 infection. The number of active cases of COVID-19 is continuously declining. Currently, 3,102 patients are receiving treatment at various hospitals. COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 98.24% in Bihar. This is 1.58% more than the national average. Meanwhile, 47,402 people have been vaccinated against COVID-19 in the state during the vaccination drive.
Niti Aayog will release the second edition of the India Innovation Index in a virtual event today. The index will be released by Niti Aayog Vice Chairman Dr. Rajiv Kumar in the presence of Niti Aayog member Dr. V.K. Saraswat and the Chief Executive Officer Amitabh Kant. Niti Aayog said in a statement that the release of the second edition of the index demonstrates the government's continued commitment towards transforming the country into an innovation-driven economy. The India Innovation Index 2020 seeks to rank the states and union territories based on their relative performance of supporting innovation and to empower them to improve their innovation policies by highlighting their strengths and weaknesses. The ranking methodology is designed in a way that states can draw lessons from the national leaders in innovation. The states and union territories have been divided into 17 major states, 10 northeast and hill states, and 9 city states and union territories for effectively comparing their performance. The states and union territories have been ranked on two broad categories: outcome and governance. You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to release financial assistance to over 6 lakh beneficiaries of Uttar Pradesh under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Grameen. India to begin supply of indigenous COVID-19 vaccine to several neighbouring and key partner countries from today. 10th round of talks between centre and farmers' representatives to be held in New Delhi today. US President-elect Joe Biden to be sworn in as the 46th president under thick security cover. And in cricket, BCCI announces 18-member squad for home test series against England. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
The 10th round of talks between the centre and the farmers' representatives will be held in New Delhi today. The meeting was earlier scheduled for yesterday but had been postponed by a day. The 9th round of talks held on the 15th of January had remained inconclusive. Speaking to media after the meeting, Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar had said the unions have been asked to form informal groups among themselves and submit a draft to the government regarding their demands.
हमने लगातार किसान यूनियन के साथ आग्रह किया है कि वे कानून के क्लॉज पर चर्चा करें और जहां किसान को आपत्ति है या किसान को तकलीफ दिखाई देती है वो बताएं तो सरकार उस पर विचार करने के लिए भी और संशोधन करने के लिए भी तैयार है। हमारी अपेक्षा है कि किसान क्लॉज बाय क्लॉज चर्चा करें, वो रिपील के अलावा क्या विकल्प चाहते हैं वो विकल्प सरकार के सामने प्रस्तुत करें तो सरकार जरूर पूरी गंभीरता के साथ उनकी समस्या पर, उनकी आपत्ति पर विचार करने को खुले मन से तैयार है।
In Chhattisgarh, paddy procurement under the minimum support price scheme is progressing. More than 80 lakh metric tons of paddy has been purchased so far. More details from our Raipur correspondent.
Chhattisgarh is one of the major paddy producing states of the country. Paddy procurement under minimum support price scheme was started from December 1, which will continue till 31st of January. So far, over 80 lakh metric tons of paddy has been purchased on MSP from about 19 lakh farmers. Meanwhile, the National Vice President of the Bharatiya Janata Party and former Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh, Dr. Raman Singh, has demanded extension of the last date of paddy procurement by 1 month so that no farmer of the state is deprived of selling his crop. He alleged that the state government was not able to arrange paddy procurement properly. He said that state unit of BJP will stage protest across the state against the policies of the Congress government on the 22nd January. Vikalp Shukla, AIR News, Raipur.
A total of 11,584 individuals have registered for the Maharashtra government's Agriculture Value Chain Development Project. State Agriculture Minister Dadaji Bhuse yesterday reviewed the progress and instructed to increase the participation of all regions of the state. Our Mumbai correspondent has more details.
As per the state government's release, 5,764 organizations applied for this project, out of which approximately 2,000 are farmer-produced organizations. The project was approved last year. The project, also called as Honorable Bala Saheb Thackeray Agri-Business and Rural Transformation Project, that is SMART. It will be implemented in 7 years in all districts of the state. Its objective is to provide a value chain to help farmers to enter into national and international markets. It will help to reduce intermediaries and increase income of farmer produce organizations. Under this project, financial assistance will be extended to farmers for technical assistance and infrastructure development. World Bank and some private sector entities have also participated in project via CSR. Jeevan Bhavsar, AIR News, Mumbai.
The year-long celebrations to commemorate the 125th birth anniversary year of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose will commence on 23rd of January this year. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will preside over the inaugural event of the celebrations being held at Kolkata. Briefing reporters in New Delhi, Culture Minister Prahlad Singh Patel said the birth anniversary year of Netaji will be celebrated in a befitting manner at the national and international level.
फुटबॉल टूर्नामेंट और मैराथन ये खेल विभाग ने तय किया है कि वो वर्ष भर गतिविधियां नेताजी के नाम पर समर्पित करेंगे। पद यात्राएं और साइकिल यात्राएं ये भी युवा कार्यक्रम विभाग ने तय की हैं कि वर्ष भर वो गतिविधियों को जारी रखेंगे। देखो अपना देश के तहत जो वेबिनार्स होंगे पर्यटन मंत्रालय के वो पूरी तरह से नेताजी के लिए समर्पित होंगे। आईएनए की धुन पर कदम बढ़ाए जा मीटिंग रिट्रीट में गीत शामिल होगा। रक्षा मंत्रालय ने ऐसा फैसला किया है। एयर इंडिया ने विमानों पर नेताजी के चित्र लगाने का फैसला किया है। नेताजी के नाम पर एक एक्सप्रेस रेलगाड़ी रेल मंत्रालय ने तय की है। 5 भारतीय विश्वविद्यालयों में नेताजी से संबंधित 5 पीठों की स्थापना होगी। ये शिक्षा विभाग का फैसला है। नेताजी पर लघु फिल्म प्रतियोगिता भारत के लिए नेताजी के सपनों को कैसे पूरा किया जाए, ये सूचना प्रसारण मंत्रालय ने पूरा एक एपिसोड बनाने का फैसला किया है।
Meanwhile, the government has renamed Howrah-Kalka Mail as Netaji Express to show the honour to Netaji. Railway Minister Piyush Goyal in a tweet said Netaji's Parakram had put India on the express route of freedom and development. Indian Air Force and French Air and Space Force will conduct a bilateral air exercise X-Desert 921 at Air Force Station Jodhpur from today. The air exercise will be conducted till the 24th of January. The French side will participate with Rafale, Airbus A330 multi-role tanker transport MRTT, A400M tactical transport aircraft and approximately 175 personnel. The Indian Air Force aircraft participating in the exercise will include Mirage 2000, Sukhoi 30 MKI, Rafale IL-78 flight refueling aircraft, AVAX and AEW&C aircraft. The exercise marks an important milestone in the series of engagements between the two air forces. It is unique as it includes fielding of Rafale aircraft by both sides and is indicative of the growing interaction between the two premier air forces.
The government has asked social media platform WhatsApp to withdraw the recent changes in its privacy policy, saying the unilateral changes are unfair and unacceptable. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has written a strongly worded letter to WhatsApp CEO Will Cathcart, saying the proposed changes to the WhatsApp Terms of Service and Privacy Policy without giving users an option to opt out raise grave concerns regarding the implications for the choice and autonomy of Indian citizens. It said India is home to the largest user base of WhatsApp globally and is one of the biggest markets for its services. In Bihar, 354th birth anniversary of 10th Sikh Guru, Guru Gobind Singh Prakashotsav is being celebrated with religious fervour and gaiety. The main function is organised at Takht Sri Harmandir Sahib Gurudwara, Patna Sahib, the birthplace of Guru Gobind Singh, where thousands of pilgrims across the country are offering prayers. Special langars are also being organised. Born at Patna Sahib in 1666, Guru Gobind Singh was the 10th Sikh Guru. He succeeded his father Guru Tegh Bahadur as leader of Sikhs at the age of just 9. On this auspicious day, the Sikh community remembers Guru Gobind Singh's contribution by offering prayers.
Various sessions held at International Film Festival of India, IFFI, are quite informative and interesting. The festival will run till the 24th of January, and we have more from the Panji correspondent.
Professor Madhu Apsara, Associate Professor FTII, said that sounds are crucial for a film to feel realistic for the audience. sounds and dialogue must perfectly sync with the actions in a cinema without any lag, he added. He delivered a lecture on sound design in cinema through OTT. John Matthew Mathan, chairperson of Indian Panorama Jury and noted film writer, producer and director, opined that it is quite important for any filmmaker to understand the elements of sociology and politics. The director must have sensitivity towards society, he added. He threw light on many facets of filmmaking in virtual in-conversation session with Tushar Jadhav, Mukesh Thali for AIR News from Panaji.
U.S. President-elect Joe Biden and his deputy Kamala Harris will be sworn in as the 46th President and the 49th Vice President of the United States today. Ms. Harris will make history as America's first woman, first black and first person with South Asian roots to take the office of the Vice President. Joe Biden, 78, will take the oath on his 127-year-old family Bible, which will be held by his wife, Dr. Jill Biden. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will be sworn in from the west front of the U.S. Capitol building. Meanwhile, the security has been beefed up at the U.S. Capitol building in view of the recent clashes between Trump supporters and police. India's regular skipper Virat Kohli will return to the team for next month's 4-test series against England after Board of Control for Cricket in India BCCI has announced the official squad for the first 2 tests for the home series against England. Surprisingly, in view of COVID-19, BCCI has named an 18-member squad instead of the regular 16-member squad. The first test is scheduled from February 5th to 9th, followed by the second from February 13th to 17th.
And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. Srinagar had fog in the morning. The temperatures will hover between -7 and 10 degrees Celsius. Jammu too had fog in the morning. The minimum temperature was around 9 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 22 degrees. Leh will have partly cloudy sky. The temperatures were around -12 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 1 degree. Gilgit, the temperatures will hover between -6 and 12 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, the temperatures will hover between 3 and 19 degrees Celsius. Dehradun, the temperatures will be around 5 degrees and a maximum of around 22 degrees. Chandigarh, the temperatures are likely to hover between 7 and 24 degrees Celsius. The national capital the temperatures will hover between 9 and 19 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have clear sky with temperatures around 19 degrees and the maximum around 31 degrees. In Hyderabad, the temperature was around 17 degrees while the maximum will be around 29 degrees.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Most newspapers today lead with stories on the COVID-19 preventive vaccination. The Hindustan Times says, vaccination lagging, government appeals against hesitancy. The Pioneer informs COVID-19 vaccine makers fact sheets to help recipients understand shots, risk and benefits. SII Biotech release jab dose and don'ts. With visibility 050 flights delayed, city air quality again enters severe zone, writes the Times of India. Amidst the ongoing controversy once the new privacy policy, government asked WhatsApp to drop new policy, asked to clarify privacy and data issues within 7 days, states the business standards. And finally, most newspapers carry pictures of the beaming Team India celebrating their victory at the Gabba in the test match at Brisbane. Thriller for India at the Gabba, writes the Asian Age.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to release financial assistance to over 6 lakh beneficiaries of Uttar Pradesh under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Grameen. India to begin supply of indigenous COVID-19 vaccine to several neighbouring and key partner countries from today. 10th round of talks between the centre and farmers' representatives to be held in New Delhi today. US President-elect Joe Biden to be sworn as 46th President under thick security cover. And in cricket, BCCI announces 18-member squad for home test series against England. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.